exactly what I. So it's just like, oh, that just made so much more sense. So thank you. The book was so big. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna.
We will talk tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, I can't get, I'm gonna get carpal tunnel. Yeah, so I just, that's so funny.
Hey, how you doing? All right. All right. Okay, I gotta get all this stuff out. Oh my God, I'm behind. Trust me, I am behind. I got all this stuff. I never put it in any order. Just,
So this is just gonna take. John thought it was gonna shoot. I'm looking at that and I'm going, I really should buy.
come on, liquor. Doesn't matter. Okay. So we should be out of here in what, like 4 minutes?
John says 130.
What?
John said 130
130 what?
minutes. We'll be done in 130 minutes.
Yeah, right.
10 minutes per.
Yeah, no way.
What do you think it's gonna be? Like an hour?
Yeah, if that.
Oh, that'd be lovely. God, I would kill for that. My weekend starts as soon as we're done. I'm actually thinking of going up to the garden. Tonight.
Call Justin. Call Justin.
I'm sure they must go. Yes. Why did we just No, this is good. This is the strategy that I'm trying to. I know.
So you can imagine when it comes to
It's a little bit of a learning curve. Yeah. But I would definitely be interested at some point in what that thought process. Oh.
So you get the explanation, it'd be like, okay.
But it kind of had the same ending. Oh. Right, that's very, I didn't realize.
So if your follow-up question is, why did you do that?
All right.
I don't have a really good.
No, but that's a very.
Chair rules, we have a quorum. And we will go through these bills as best we can here. Starting out with House Bill 39. And House Bill 39, you have your worksheets? Okay. House Bill 39, Representative Cole, second by Representative Hunt, moves inexpedient to legislate. And Representative Cole is recognized to speak to his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The committee voted unanimously 8-0 to expedite to legislate.
That is a model of brevity. So, we usually have another sentence that because you're gonna have to write a blurb. You have to write. Excuse me.
Report. Committee report.
Excuse me. We have to write a committee report. So you want to practice what you're going to say in the committee report as to why the committee, the subcommittee decided that was inexpedient to legislate.
We think it would be a terrible law.
So, obviously, writing blurbs is going to be a whole new art form for you new members to learn, and I will certainly help you out. The general rule of thumb when you write a blurb is you write what the bill was intended to do, and then you write if there was an amendment, what the amendment does. If there's no amendment, then you would say after you wrote what the bill was intended to do, you would then say, however, the committee felt that the problem with the bill would XYZ. Now, when you write your blurb, one of the tricks that I have is if you take the bill, does someone have the bill in front of them? Okay, so if you take the bill in front of you, and then when you see it says analysis, cut and paste that. Okay, that's what the bill does. This bill makes changes, and blah, blah, blah. This is UCC. That's not the bill. Okay. So the bill, this is even better. It's like 2 sentences. Okay. The bill prohibits a person from doing business in the state from charging an additional fee for receiving a paper billing statement, elected to make a payment by the United States mail, or attempting to pay a bill in person. The committee felt this was unworkable, unenforceable, and not really appropriate. Just say problematic.
Or you can research what I wrote last. Or you can research what I wrote last year and steal it
Right.
because it was the same bill.
Same bill, right? That's another way, another trick. Okay. Okay. So yes, that's fine. Okay.
Or I
Okay.
can send it to you.
The motion is inexpedient to legislate. The clerk will call the roll.
Go down. Oh, no,
This
that's
is the
not it.
wrong committee.
Oh, hang on. That was from, here it is. That was from the clerk, the house clerk. That was my class.
Oh, your
All
clerk
right,
class.
I got
Okay.
it. Okay. Representative Ammon. Yeah. All right, right now. I had the wrong sheet, so I have the right sheet now.
She's good.
Yeah, good. Representative Ammon.
I vote yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Patusek.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Post. Yes. Cole.
Yes.
Riccelli. Exon.
Yes.
Walsh. Yes. Burrows. Yes. Herbert. Clark. Yes. McClear. Yes. Vincent.
Yes.
Calabro.
Yes.
Calabro.
Calabro.
Calabro. Okay. Filio is not here. Gibbs. Yes. Spear. Spire.
Oh, I answered for someone else
Peter.
before. I'm so sorry. I didn't hear you.
I think you
Vote
mentioned-
again.
I think you mentioned my name, but you didn't pronounce it correctly, so I wasn't sure.
It's still yes.
Vote
McAleer.
again. Just vote again.
McAleer.
Vote again.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm still yes.
Okay. Sullivan
Yes.
and Chairman Hunt.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. The vote
We
is
got 19.
19 to zip.
Yep.
All those in favor of placing House Bill 39 in the consent calendar, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. So moved unanimously. Okay. House Bill 42, relative to the
Is there, okay, so is there a minority report? No, because
No.
there's nothing, sorry. I mean, I'm just looking at the sheet. I just wanted to make sure that I had it all filled out.
Okay.
All right.
This is good.
When do we have lunch?
One down, 43 to go. Okay. All right. Relative to the operation of certain homeowners associations, House Bill 42. We have an amendment to House Bill 42. And send them around.
Yep.
Okay. In any particular order. Oh, okay. All right, so the subcommittee knew that we had these two amendments and did not know that we could get it done so quickly. So who would like to make them? I'll just make the motion. Is that unless somebody else wants to do it? Anybody? Okay.
You can teach us.
Okay. All right. So I move ought to pass on the amendment number 0286. And I don't bother with the H because that means the House, and that's only amendment. We wouldn't be voting on Senate amendments anyway.
So is it up here?
So
Up
right
fast?
where it says, okay, so
Right
this,
there, I
you know,
know.
this is, I always hate these
I know.
sheets. So because there's an amendment number, you write the amendment there. So the motion is ought to pass on
And
the
right there.
amendment.
Got it.
In my past life, I was a clerk too. No, this committee.
Why do you want to vote against it?
No, my motion is ought to pass on
Oh,
this.
ought to pass.
Ought to pass on the
sorry.
amendment.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. And second by Representative Patusek. Okay, so what this amendment does, it brings in the two concerns that people had. In particular, it's Roman numeral 2. It was actually in 1 and 2. That it has to be, the homeowners association had to have been created by the planning board. Actually, it's not in 1, it's just in 2. No homeowner association constituted this chapter and approved by the planning board. So that's the one amendment. The second amendment was to take out timeshares. Not that I can imagine that any timeshare has a homeowners association, but anything can happen. So those are the two amendments. Anybody have any questions? Okay. So the motion is ought to pass on the amendment.
Right. All right. Ammon,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Patusek. Terry,
Yes.
Post. Yes. Cole,
Yes.
Richelli, Paxton,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
Burrows,
Yes.
Herbert,
Yes.
Clerk, yes. McAleer,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Calabro.
Yes.
Shawna's not here yet. Gibbs,
Yes.
Fire, Spear, Spear.
Yes.
Just don't look at that
Spear,
eye.
I know.
It's very disconcerting.
Sullivan,
Yes.
and Chairman Hunt.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
19-0 for the amendment.
Amendment approved is 19 to zip. Now, Representative Hunt, second by Representative Patusek, moves ought to pass as amended. Any discussion on the motion of ought to pass on amendment? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll when she's ready.
Ammon,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Patusek,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Post. Yes. Cole,
Yes.
Percelli,
Yes.
Thaxton,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
Burrows,
Yes.
Herbert,
Yeah.
Collier, yes. McAleer,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Calabro,
Yes.
Gibbs,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
and Chairman Hunt.
Yes.
19-0.
Mr.
Vote.
Chairman, I believe you needed a motion and a second.
Yeah, the motion was made by me. And
That
seconded by-
was on the amendment. Who
No.
moved in second?
No.
Yeah, same,
Same
same.
people, Hunt and
Hunt and
Is that
Patusek.
is that automatic, or did you say you?
No,
read
I did say it.
it? Okay. Well, I was taking a kip. I'm awake now.
Okay. So the motion's been, the pass in 19 to zip. All those in favor of placing on the consent calendar, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved unanimously. Oh, God, you're just consolidated again. Okay. Relative to repair of home appliances, House Bill 73. Okay, the recommendation is to retain it. because Representative Fielder wanted us to retain it, and he's not
He's
here.
on his way.
Okay. So we just wait till he gets here, because he's the one who wanted to retain
Yeah,
it.
he said, he thought it was at 2 o'clock.
Okay. All right, well, all right, so the next one is House Bill 173. I don't even remember talking, did we talk about this? Oh, that's right. Okay, so 173, we need an amendment to repeal the whole building code.
We're gonna wait.
Oh, we wanted to retain it? Oh, that's right, because we have to wait till after they have done implement, right? The building code is implemented. Okay, all right, so who would like to make the motion to retain?
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
Representative Ammon, second by Representative Patusek, moves to retain
Yep.
173.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Want to speak to your motion?
I can speak briefly.
Yes.
So we heard testimony that the state building codes are going to be updated at some future point, which will make the entire RSA obsolete. And so changing the RSA would be meaningless at that point. So the idea is to hold on to the bill, and hopefully those codes will be updated by next session, next year, and we can amend the bill to make it more appropriate.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion to retain? Seeing none, I guess I have to roll call this. Yeah.
Okay.
In the old days, it used to be the chair just has the sense. I would have loved it that. I could just unilaterally call it retained. So,
Oh, you have to call.
you,
I thought you said you had to do this.
no,
So-
we.
So, Mr. Chairman, on a retain, you don't have the opportunity to say without objection, so ordered?
I wish, I did.
You
I
can't
used
do
to.
that?
I used to.
By rule, you can't do that anymore?
Not anymore. Now we have to,
You got roll call everything?
Roll call.
we have to have a roll call.
So without objection.
And this is not Washington.
All right then.
Okay.
This is on retaining
Retain.
HB 173.
Correct.
Ammon,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Patusek, Terry,
Yes.
Post. Yes. Cole,
Yes.
Richelli,
Yes.
Baxton,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
Burrows,
Yes.
Herbert. Clerk, yes. McAleer,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Calabro.
Yes.
He's not here. Gibbs,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
and Chairman Hunt.
Yes. All right, motion carries a vote of 19 to zip.
19-0. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Next is House Bill 178 relative to enforcement of condominium liens for assessment. I believe we want to retain this. Yeah. Okay, who would like to make the retain motion? No, there's no blurb. There's no blurb for retaining. Okay, Representative Herbert.
178. Yeah. Retain.
And second by Representative Ammon.
Okay.
Okay, Representative Herbert, you're recognized to speak to your retaining motion. Now.
That bad bill. My thing was the problem with tying the lien to a mortgage, and you might end up putting in $2,500 lien and on a $500,000 condo, which doesn't make any sense.
Perfect. Okay, so the motion is to retain, and the clerk will call
The roll.
the roll.
Ammon,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Patusek. Yes. Terry,
Yes.
Post. Yes. Cole,
Yes.
Richelli,
Yes.
Axton. Yes. Walsh,
Yes.
Burrows,
Yes.
Herbert,
No, not yet.
Clerk, yes. McAleer,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Calabro,
Yes.
Gibbs,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Sullivan, Chairman Hunt.
Yes. Okay, the motion passes in 19 to zip. All right, next up, House Bill 239. No, that's what we just did. No, we don't. That's a
238.
condominium disclosure of financial information. I don't think we're ready for this one, right? No, we don't want. She's
I have
not
a
in-
question mark,
She's not
yeah.
in the room.
I thought, 239, I
239.
thought we were waiting for an amendment. That's what my notes said.
239. Yep.
John?
Yeah, that's what I thought, take up later.
So this is not an early bill, so I'm not worried about it, so we will not take this bill up today. Okay, next up, House Bill 459, relative to transaction exempt from the regulation of businesses practices from the Consumer Protection Act. Okay. This is. This is not in numerical order. Bottom of the pile. Okay. All right, Representative Ammon and Representative Field is not here, so seconded by Representative Patusek, moves inexpedient to legislate.
Speak to the motion.
And Representative Ammon is recognized to speak to his motion.
We heard testimony that the reason that exemptions exist for certain categories of industry is because those industries are highly regulated, and having an exemption for personal right to action would have unintended consequences with existing regulation. And even though the bill is well-intentioned, it would cause a little bit of chaos with existing regulations. So therefore move ITL.
Okay. I'll let him get in his seat so he can participate. Okay. Okay, so the motion is inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 459. This is the consumer protection. Okay. All right, so the clerk will call the roll on inexpedient to legislate.
On HB 459.
Correct.
Ammon,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Matusek. Terry,
Yes.
Post. Yes. Cole,
Yes.
Pacelli,
Yes.
Sexton. Walsh,
Yes.
Burrows,
Yes.
Herbert. Clerk, yes. McAleer,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Calabro,
Yes.
Filio,
Yes.
Gibbs,
No.
Spear,
Yes.
Sullivan. Yes. And Chairman Hunt.
Yes.
Okay, so 19 to 1.
No, it's 20.
1.
Who's,
19 to 1, I was no.
She voted no.
oh, she voted no.
Yeah.
19 to 1. Okay. Okay.
Minority.
Are you okay, Representative Gibbs? Are you all right to put this on the consent calendar?
No.
Or you want it on the regular calendar?
I would request
Okay,
it be
and
on
would you
this.
like to write a blurb? Excuse me, a minority report.
I guess I will have to.
No, you don't have to, but you probably should.
I will.
Okay.
Will somebody let me know when I will need to do this?
You theoretically, we tell you to do it by the end of the day. I always give people one day, so we assume that you go home tonight and do it tonight and email it to me tomorrow.
Okay.
That would be great. And your motion would be ought to pass?
Yes.
Great, thanks.
Okay, now, we'll go back. We'll do House Bill 73 relative to repair of home appliances, because you wanted to make the retain motion.
Right.
Okay, so, Representative Filot, seconded by Representative Patusek, moves, to retain. And you're recognized to speak to your motion.
Move to retain House Bill 73. Because while it is a sound idea, it still needs some work in terms of making it more in line with what we've seen in other states as well as other jurisdictions. We need to recognize consumers' rights to maintain control over their own appliances, but as it is worded at this time, it's unenforceable.
Perfect. Okay, so the motion is to retain.
All
Patusek,
right.
he's my default.
Actually, John second. All right. And this is on retaining HB 73.
33.
Yep.
Correct.
Ammon,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Patusek. Terry,
Yes.
Host,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Richelli,
Yes.
Thaxton.
You can't.
to vote. You have to.
Just so you know, if you're not going to vote on something, if you don't want to feel comfortable, you need to get up and walk out of the room before the question is put.
Yeah, you can't abstain under Masons. You
Can't
got to walk
abstain.
out of the room.
Just get out of the room quickly. Do not wait until you get the
You
motion.
got
gets
to
made.
run away.
Soon as you run to the nearest bathroom
All
and
right.
hide. Right, yeah, right. Shh, yeah,
All
right.
right.
You
Walsh,
always got to have someone do that in the first session. You know, you gotta,
Walsh,
Yes.
Burrows,
Yes.
Herbert. Clerk, yes. McAleer,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Calabro,
Yes.
Filio,
Yes.
Gibbs,
Yes.
Spear.
Yes, reluctantly.
All right. Sullivan. And Chairman Hunt.
yes.
All right.
All right, okay, so
Yeah, we have Osborne here.
19-1. Okay, moving right along. Is next up is okay 279. Okay, if we'll take it up if we're not done prior to that. So
Sorry, what
otherwise,
happened to 465?
459?
459 is
Oh, it's-
inexpedient to legislate 19-1, and you're writing the minority report.
Sorry.
You can always
My
change your
apologies.
vote, by the way.
You're right. I was looking at the wrong list.
All right. So we'll hold off on 279. Next is House Bill 146 relative to the closure of state liquor stores. I'm sure it is. But it better be.
I'm just gonna scratch that off so you never have that on.
Who made the motion?
I think I did. Yeah.
All right, Representative Bilo, second by Representative Patusek.
That's one. Hang on. One. Yep. Yeah. ITL. All right. Patusek. All right.
And Representative Bilo is recognized to speak to her motion.
Well,
It was
I believe the Liquor Commission should be responsible for opening and closing stores. They have all the information. We don't, as legislators. I think it gets.
I don't want to tell.
We don't want to interfere. If we do, it's micromanaging. So I believe the Liquor Commission should be responsible for opening and closing liquor stores.
Any more discussion on the motion of inexpedient to legislate? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Ammon,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Patusek, Perry,
Yes.
Host,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Richelli,
Yes.
Baxton,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
Burrows,
Yes.
Herbert,
Yes.
Clerk, yes. McAleer,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Calabro,
Yes.
Filio,
No.
Gibbs,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
and Chairman Hunt.
Yes.
19-1
Okay.
was ITO.
Are you gonna do a minority report, or are you okay to put this on the consent calendar?
It's could go on the consent calendar.
Okay. All right. All those in favor of the consent calendar, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? So moved unanimously. Okay. All right, 167. Okay, so 167, yesterday when we were discussing it, it then turned out that it wasn't just this one establishment that was having a problem, but there were multiple ones that has a problem. And much to our chagrin, we didn't, belabor it. They were going to do a little more homework on it. So this morning, for better or for worse, it takes me an hour and a half to hour, 15 minutes to drive in. Which I wouldn't have in the old days when I used to be Zooming. I didn't have time to contemplate my navel. But in this case, I called up the commission. I said, and I had all the enforcement in the room, and I said, so normally the way, I know the history of how this happened, in terms of what we were trying to do. We were worried that somebody would try to open up a Nano in their living room. And then I said to them, so normally, if we understand that there's this federal law that requires that you can't have in a residential environment, and that that no resident should impede the way the federal law is written, impede your ability to enter the facility. Normally, I would say is okay, since this is a statute that should really apply not just to Nano, it should apply to everybody, all beverage manufacturers. But I'm not too excited about passing. I said, so if it's already federal statute, why don't we just pass this bill as is and repeal the business requirement, the residential requirement, especially since it seems to have got the commission in their enforcement befuddled over the fact that they seem to be taking it a little farther than what the actual legislative intent was. And their response was quickly great idea, let's just pass it. So, Representative Hunt, seconded by Representative Patusek, moves ought to pass
Question.
House Bill 167.
Question.
Just a second.
Okay. Question.
Is now open for discussion.
Thank you.
Representative Herbert.
I'm just trying to, if I recall, you said that what this gentleman actually wants is to be able to go on the other side of the wall and tap. In other words, serve in his establishment. And that was his goal.
His problem was that he had complied with the federal law
Yeah,
that ensured that you could not get from the residence
right.
into the facility, which was a barn attached to his house.
Right.
And so therefore, he was in compliance with the federal law, but even more importantly, he was in compliance with the legislative intent of what the statute that was written that we intended when we put it in. Okay, because we don't want liquor enforcement to have to walk through any part of somebody's house to get to the Nano facility. So given that he was in compliance, and that theoretically he was going to be given permission to be in compliant as soon as the commission, was able to get up and check out his facility. But what was scary was turns out that he wasn't the only one that had this problem, that there were others that had the problem. So even the commission admitted that the law that we have, the current law now, is flawed. And so the better part of valor is let's just get rid of it. We don't have to worry about the legislative intent because that is federal law now.
Further
For the question.
inquiry. So these other instances that came to the fore are
Right.
circled up. Those folks all got the federal license?
They did.
Okay.
And they got their license, and they all had to pay the higher fee to become beverage manufacturers, when they were actually, their production levels were very low, so they really complied to be nanos.
So this guy's gonna have to still pay the,
Well, he's already paid the fee, but when his renewal, which will come up in June,
Yep.
he will be able to reapply as a nano. It would renew his license as a nano rather than a.
and,
Beverage
and the
manufacturer.
liquor commission is kosher with that.
They think that's a good idea.
All right.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Yes.
I believe that when we discussed this, it was revealed that the federal requirement had been satisfied because the door had been padlocked.
Correct.
And the state was interpreting the statute in such a way as to suggest that even though it was padlocked, that was not sufficient.
Correct.
So if we eliminate this, we are acknowledging what the feds are acknowledging, and that that a padlock is sufficient, and it can continue to be a nano and pay the nano fee rather than the higher fee. Therefore, I'm in support of it. Thank you.
There you go. All right. Any more discussion on the motion about to pass? All right. Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Ammon,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Matusik. Yes. Terry,
Yes.
Post. Yes. Cole,
Yes.
Richelli. Yes. Baxton,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
Burrows. Yes. Herbert.
Yes.
Clerk, yes. McAleer,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Calabro,
Yes.
Filio,
Yes.
Gibbs,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes, reluctantly.
Sullivan,
Yes.
and Chairman Hunt.
Yes.
20 zip.
Okay. 20 zip. All those in favor of placing on the consent calendar, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, so moved unanimously. All right. Oh. Okay, we'll go back now to 279.
That's the over-serving penalty.
Oh. It really requires more than more.
279?
Yeah.
Okay, 279 is being passed around. So
We're not gonna get that.
sometimes when we get an amendment, the amendment will only be just that you would have to keep the bill itself in front of you, and then you have to look at the amendment and kind of fold it in. In this case, they just rewrote the whole thing.
So it replaces it.
So replaces it. So you could see that this is, it's always helpful. So you look at line 1, it says amend the bill by replacing all after the enacting clause. And that's the magic word saying is this is the whole bill in all together rather than just the amendment. So what the critical change in this bill was in lines it started 11 to 14, where in the original, the bill did have the $7,500 fine. But then we're saying if there is documented attendance by the licensee's personnel at a commission sponsored by educational program before the injury or death, either online or in person, the suspension shall be reduced by 15 days.
question?
Is that who you wanted?
Can I ask a question?
That's not what I wanted.
I didn't think so.
Okay, never mind. This is wrong. This was the wrong
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was supposed to be 10 days and then automatic 30 days. But I would have to say this is the way the commission, I sent them the wrong file. Sorry. Never mind. We won't take this up today. Well, it was sort of the chicken and the egg. How do we do this? My intent was to be that we maintain the 10 days, which is the current law, but that if they had not gone through the training, it would have been 30 days. So,
Automatic.
yeah,
30 days.
that's my fault. I sent the wrong file. Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
If you, line 4, new paragraph, serving intoxicated persons, penalties in case of serious bodily injury or death. So it's really only saying that it's okay to serve somebody, overserve somebody, as long as they don't, after the fact, commit a crime. Isn't it illegal to overserve somebody, period?
Yeah, what this section is about is what are the penalties that the Liquor Commission has to enforce. So if you look, you see that this is the sentence starts for the first offense. And then you have the second offense. So this is a mess.
It is.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
This is all,
Shouldn't
Yeah,
it,
you're
shouldn't
right.
it read that it's illegal to overserve
Yeah.
anyone?
that's somewhere else. That's somewhere else in the section.
All right.
All this, what we're amending here is just the penalty, what the instructions to the judge, who happens to be the Liquor Commission, what the penalties of over-serving. If somebody gets hurt or dies.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I understand this correctly, with respect to the 30 consecutive days and the $7,500, in the situation with Elizabeth, was it Croak?
Right.
It could very well then be 30 days and a fine of $7,500.
Correct.
Resulting because
They did not have the
the
training.
bartender or whoever did not have the required training.
Correct.
So there's no additional penalty for not having the required training. This is the maximum penalty if there's no required, if
Right.
there's no
But
training.
under the current law right
Under the
now,
current-
it just simply says 10 days.
Right, so this is 30 days now.
This would be 30-day suspension.
So it's
if
30 days if there's no training,
Correct. Up to.
up to
Yeah,
30
Up to
days.
30 days.
That's their discretion.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
point of clarification.
Yes.
Representative Terry referred to required training. Am I wrong? But there
Sorry.
is no required training in New Hampshire.
That is correct.
That's right. And
That
that
is-
is another issue. and
That
I
is the issue.
apologize.
The issue that's been in front
Right.
of this committee multiple times was the mandate training.
Right,
And that always seemed to this committee problematic
right,
because employees come and go,
right,
unfortunately, right now, even more so
right, yeah.
than
Mostly
ever
go.
before.
The
So,
suggested training.
So
Okay.
I didn't want it to sound like we had, yeah.
No, that was good clarification. Okay, moving right on. Let's go to now 531 relative to the taxation of tobacco and nicotine products.
ITL.
Yes, who made the motion? You did. Okay, Representative Belo, seconded by Representative Vincent, moves in expedient to legislate. And Representative Belo is recognized to speak to her motion.
Yeah, I think this bill increases the taxes on nicotine products. And I did receive some phone calls from constituents who own smoking stores, like a Smoker's Haven. And he explained that it really would not really be any increase in revenue for the state because many people that are coming over the border, border towns, are buying the cigarettes knowing that they're cheaper. If they weren't cheaper than, let's say, Massachusetts, then they would buy them in Massachusetts, so we would lose revenue. And not only that, the businesses that we want to assist in making money, whether they be, smoke shops or not, we really should be working in the best interest for our business community as well. So I think the increase in taxes is not a good thing for the state.
Okay, Representative Burrows.
I think there were maybe two more people who were in agreement with me who were,
I see 6-1.
I know, but I think two people, am I correct, may be
Right.
voting with me?
Okay.
I,
Well,
They may
Yeah, I
be
don't,
executive.
this is the first I've heard that argument from,
That argument?
yeah, like, when, did we talk about that on
This-
before? No, what she just said, like, did we
Yeah, it
talk-
was,
No, I know
well,
yesterday.
no,
I
during the
thought-
hearing as well, not executive session, I mean, not the
subcommittee.
subcommittee. We heard it the day we heard the bill from the sponsor.
Okay.
So the community business owners came in and they were not for this increase in, taxes because they said that they would lose revenue and the state would lose revenue as well.
I would just say that, I never like to see a business lose money, but in this case, I think there's a public health crisis around cigarettes and, frankly, anything in my mind that would help people stop smoking cigarettes, I'm for.
Representative Gibbs.
I support what Representative Burrows just said. I think there's,
Representative Spear.
thank you. I accidentally voted the wrong way last time, so I'm one of those crazy people, but nonetheless, yes, we might lose some revenue, and it's not going to be very much, but we're going to spend money on healthcare as a result of these people continuing with this smoking thing.
Not if they live
So
in
I don't know
Massachusetts.
this. What?
Not if they live in Massachusetts. If they're coming over the line. to buy
Then
it.
at the federal level, my Medicare is going to get
Yeah,
hit. I don't think that there's any kind of a loss. I mean, I think we're going to pay,
Okay.
we may lose on this side, but we're going to gain on that side. So the fact that a few tobacco outfits are going to lose a little money may save us all in the long run.
So just to make sure, this is the liquor committee, and no, you were not on the liquor committee. So that's 6-1. You
You're
might
right. I wasn't able to vote then anyway.
exactly.
Okay then. But I
Let
can
you off
vote
the
now.
hook on that one. There you go. Okay.
I
All
hope
right.
this is not being recorded.
Yes, it is.
I know.
And,
that's
and it
facetious.
drives me nuts. The camera. There's no
Tongue in
red
cheek.
light on that camera. Okay, Representative Benson.
Thank you. Real quick. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Real quick. What I don't like about this is it took the control out of the state's hands and put it in the board's hands, which there could be, that's it. I'm getting this. So thank you.
Perfect. Okay. Any more discussion on the motion of inexpedient to legislate? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll.
All right. Ammon,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Matusik. Terry,
Yes.
Host,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Pacelli,
Yes.
Axton,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
Burrows,
No.
Herbert. Clerk, yes. McAleer,
No.
Vincent,
Yes.
Calabro,
Yes.
Filio,
No.
Gibbs,
No.
Spear,
No.
Sullivan. And Chairman Hunt.
Yes.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 to 5.
Okay, 15-5. So that will stay on the regular calendar. Would there be a minority report?
Yes.
And Representative Burrows, you will be doing the minority report. Okay. Okay.
Whoops. Yep. You're right. Okay.
Okay. Two more. 612, relative to the fees for New Hampshire wine manufacturers.
We're gonna retain that one, I think.
No, we ITL'd it. You ITL'd it.
I think was a no on this.
Yeah, so just to jog your memory,
We
okay,
wrote the wrong thing. Yeah.
is that turns out we do have a $100 fee to be a de minimis wine manufacturer. That we don't see any particular reason to change the sample size from 5 ounce to 6 ounce. And then the third part, which was to repeal the wine tax or excise tax for when a wine is not delivered through the commission, but is delivered directly, it's self-delivered, if we want to call it that, self-delivered or sold on site, that we would leave the tax at the 5% excise tax. So the motion, Representative Belos, seconded by Representative Sullivan, moves inexpedient to legislate.
And that's the reason why.
And that's the
just-
reason why.
You just said it.
Any more discussion on the motion of ITL? Yes, Representative Calabro.
I had a chance to talk to Mike Apollo after yesterday, and
You
a
might
couple
pull the
of
mic a little closer.
I had a chance to talk to Mike Apollo yesterday, and I represent two independent wine companies in my district. I think there is some merit to their complaints about the taxation issues. I think we might want to consider working on that part alone. I agree that it is ITL for the other elements of it, but I think that we should not just throw that away.
So you're saying that the 5% is too high?
I do. I feel that they are being penalized and the size of their operations are being thwarted. These independent vineyards, there are not a lot of them, but this is really unfair taxation compared to other industries.
As compared to
Beer
the
and
beer, the
large-
30 cents a
and the
gallon
large,
beer
yeah.
tax.
Yeah.
But of course, in beer, that the tax, is at the wholesale rate. And so there's a margin there.
Right.
And obviously the wine, this is an ability, the 5% was created when we gave them the right to sell the wine themselves.
Okay.
Because the law was, prior to that, was that the only way you could buy a bottle of wine in New Hampshire was through the Liquor Commission.
Right.
In which the Liquor Commission then got its much greater than 5%. It got its 25% margin. So the state was taking a hit to allow them to be able to sell it themselves. Something to think about.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Representative Sullivan.
So, I remember yesterday during the discussion, wasn't there a concern about this being unconstitutional? Like having different prices? for
Well,
wine?
I brought that up. If we were to try to do something different, in other words, if we were to say is that only the large wine guys,
Okay.
gals, would be at the 5%, and that we would do something less. In other words, have a lower excess tax.
Right.
But the reality is that 5% was already, a steep discount from what, in terms of selling it through the Liquor Commission. So this is in lieu of the Liquor Commission, they want to sell it straight, so they don't have to sell it to the commission. So the theory is that 5% it is actually retail, I think. So it in terms of what they end up selling it for, but they can obviously sell it at a much higher price
Factor in the 5%.
than what they would sell it to the commission for.
Right.
And it's still lower than rooms and meals.
Right. Now, they would have to pay the rooms and meals if they
serve food.
opened the bottle and gave them a sample and charged them for the sample. But if they gave it to them for free, like they used to do in the old days, then there would be no rooms and meals tax. And there's no rooms and meals tax but if you're in terms of a lot of these let's say that's what Nano was all about, was that they really we were like a wine bar. I mean, you come in and, you got all these different samples, and I know there's some when you're supposed to do wine tasting in California, so you're supposed to spit it out. You're not supposed to drink it. You're just supposed to let's swirl it around a little bit. But the reality is, people are drinking it. Yes, Representative Gibbs.
Would it make sense to retain this bill so as to be able to strip out anything relating to samples and make sure that we were bringing forward only something that would be a tax or a fee? Honestly, I don't care what you call it, that would be both constitutional and fair as between wine and beer manufacturers.
Right. Well, I'm trying to emphasize that there is a difference between beer and wine. Okay, and that was that the concept that the profits of those wines right now, the one who's really making out is the Liquor Commission, if you buy it through the Liquor Commission. But they came in and asked for legislation to allow them to sell it there on the farm or in a farmer's market. There's also, okay. So everyone says, well, that's great, but how now? But the Liquor Commission is now losing out on all the profit. Now we don't get anything, and the political compromise at that time, and no one seemed to have a problem with it, was the 5%, because it seemed like a very low number in the scheme of things, that at least the state, that the commission might not be making its money on selling the wine, but we're giving the privilege to allow these wineries to actually sell it themselves or go to farmers markets and do all those different things. And all we're asking is for our 5% cut.
So is the difference between beer and wine the fact that the Liquor Commission never sold the beer anyway?
That is correct. That is correct.
Thank you.
So in our, for better or for worse, our forefathers thought it was a great idea to allow beer to continue through the beer distribution market. So who knows what the cut those distributors are taking, beer distributors are taking. But at the end of the day, when you were looking at how much money the beer guys make before they send it to the distributor to sell it and take their markup, and the retailer puts his markup, as compared to what the winery is now getting when they sell it at their list price. That's how we stumbled upon the 5%. Okay? So if this motion of ITL fails, then I would then entertain a retained motion. But I'm not sure what we're retaining at that point. Okay, so the clerk, is the motion clear? Anybody else want to? Okay, the clerk will call the roll on inexpedient to legislate.
On House Bill 612.
Correct.
Evan. Ammon.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Matusik. Terry.
Yes.
Post. Yes. Cole.
Yes.
Bocelli.
Yes.
Thaxton.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
Burrows.
Yes.
Herbert. Clerk. Yes. McAleer.
Yes.
Vincent.
Maybe. Yes. Sorry. Just kidding, Mr. Chairman. Yes.
Calabro.
Yes, we'll come at this another day.
Filio.
Yes.
Gibbs.
Yes.
Spear.
Yes.
Sullivan.
Yes.
And Chairman Hunt.
Yes.
20-0.
So,
Motion is ITO.
yeah, Belo and,
Yeah.
and Sullivan.
And Sullivan. Yeah.
So could you get the chair of science and technology? Did he get you? Did he think that was funny?
I have said maybe before in science, technology, and energy, but it might have just have been turn up the heat a little bit on him, keep him on his toes.
Okay. That's unanimous. All those in favor of placing it on the consent calendar, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved unanimously.
Majority report is below.
And the majority report is below.
All right.
You made the motion. I'll write the blurb. That's right. Okay. At this point, I don't think we're going to take up 130 because we're still working on this drug affordability issue. So I think we can skip that one for today, and therefore I rule that we are out of exec session.
Yeah. Great. So I don't think anybody minds that I just call them by their last name. I mean, that's how it usually is, right?
Representative Philip. Representative Philip.
Filio? Yeah.
Sean, how do we pronounce your last name?
Phil E.O.
Filio.
Filio. They're really okay.
Right.
It's
And
French
it's
Canadian.
Right. It's just no. There is no O on the end. That's not.
Don't worry about it.
Well, he
I'm
has,
just
my name is Beaulieu.
Just
Bonjour.
Yeah.
Parlez-vous français?
It just
Philo.
the more vowels you put at the end, the more it sounds like an O.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fill it. So
All right, we're good.
like, bowl me over. I mean, Bolio.
Bolio. Bolio or Bolio. Not, you call me Bilo.
Bilo.
Nobody
right.
calls me
No,
Bilo.
Right.
Only
Bolio.
you. Bolio.
Bolio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
It's all right.
French.
Everybody calls me whatever they want to call me. I think it is. Yeah.
Okay.
I pulled out a few. How many? I have so many pens at home. And then I put them in my bag and then I leave.